Please be advised that the views and opinions of the host and guests do not reflect those of the station, the management, and its network.
Ito ay ang ika-labing-anim ng Hulyo na edisyon po ng ating Opinyon ngayon. Ang ating mga informed opinions and incisive analysis ng mga pangyayari nitong nakaraang linggo, mga pangyayari itong nakaraang 7 araw po. And of course, the biggest news the past week has been since July 12, the issues surrounding the arbitration anniversary, the 5th anniversary. And ito naman even in our last episode, we were already expecting this dahil every year naman gagawa ng mga eksena yung mga anti-Duterte at anti-China tungkol dito. Na actually, makaraan ng 5 years, talagang wala namang vehikulo para ma-enforce po ito from the very beginning. Sinabi na yan, hindi naman kinikilala ng China, pero hindi po nakakapigil sa magandang cooperation ng China at Pilipinas. Unfortunately, of course, the United States, ang Estados Unidos, nagnanais pa rin manatili ang kanilang presensya, kung hindi presensya lamang, kundi yung kanyang domination or dominance dito sa Asia, pinipilit na ito ay gawing issue. Panghalukay po ng tensyon at mga sigalot dito sa rehiyon po natin. And so again, this July 12, it was expected that they would try to launch a big information event.
Disinformation.
Disinformation.
Misinformation.
And disinformation.
Fake news.
Fake news. Before we go into the actual reports on this, baka mayroong initial commentary ka dyan.
Okay. Yun nga wala na. Ang ano ko kasi, nung nakita ko, July 12 ata noon, talagang lumabas yun.
Yung arbitration.
Arbitration. Tapos pero yung kanilang ang kanilang atake na ngayon, hindi na directly dun sa PCA ruling. They actually created another disinformation, misinformation, fake news na sinasabi nila, yun nga yung na-report sa GMA7, na may isang vessel sa South China Sea na nasa loob ng ating economic zone, exclusive economic zone, EEZ, na nagtatapon daw ng human waste without even confirming kung totoo o hindi, without even third party confirming it. So parang sabi ko, hindi nila maatake yung PCA ruling precisely because wala nang maatake doon. Kasi lumabas na yung totoo. It's not enforceable. At the same time, it's just a hoax.
Saka yung intensyon ng mga
the intention was not really tawag nito.
Nag-aaway si Hilbay at saka si Carpio ngayon.
Si Carpio ngayon because they have their own different interests for themselves and for the oligarchs.
That's right.
So alam na ng tao. So hindi nila maatake yung PCA ruling. Pero anong ginawa nila? They created a new disinformation na fake news.
Okay.
Oo, na nag-create ng debate sa
right.
social media.
Well, sabay dyan, a few days before, I think around July 8, July 10, ang BBC naman gumawa din ng same theme, na yung China daw nagba-blockade, hinaharangan ang Filipino fishermen na pumasok sa Scarborough. There are 2 points about Scarborough. There's the Scarborough Lagoon, yung nakapalibot ng mga reef. Yung po ay fish sanctuary, which we will explain later. And then there's Scarborough Shoal, yung malawak, na hindi naman walang pinipigilan actually ng mga isda puro, except the Chinese stops their own fishermen there because may fishing moratorium ang China. May fishing moratorium ang China from March or April to August. Or May.
May. Until last week of August.
Hanggang August. So,
next week pa.
That's right.
Next
so
month
kusang pinipigilan ng China ang kanilang maraming mga fishermen na mangisda to preserve the fishing
marine ecosystem.
richness. Okay, let's go first to the BBC reporter. At may artikulo po ako which I will explain later, si Howard Johnson. Madrama pa po ang report niya, naka-full face mask niya sa umpisa. It was around a 12-minute to 15-minute report. But the first 5 minutes naka-mask siya, parang very dramatic. Later on, tinanggal niya at sinasabi niya, pinipigilan daw yung fishing boat na sakay niya, na maliit na fishing boat with Filipino fishermen, na pumasok sa lagoon. And my article explains that unang-una, yung inner lagoon, talagang pati ang presidente natin, Duterte, in 2016, nag-anunsyo na pagbabawalan ang pagpasok ng anumang fishing boats doon kasi nga yun ay fish sanctuary. Doon po nangingitlog, nagbe-breed ang isda, and so on. Ano? Doon dumadami. Ano, nagpakita pa itong si Howard Johnson ng huli doon sa loob ng lagoon na malaki. Eh malay natin kung yun ang mother fish of that species, ano? Kaya pinagbabawalan doon. Pero
at saka malay mo ba kung talagang huli yun doon in the very first place?
Of course, sa camera, maraming camera tricks na pwede, no? So, ayan po si Howard Johnson. Pero hindi lang po si Howard Johnson. Ang New York Times, ito po sa next image po natin, sinasabi na overwhelmed by Chinese fleets, Filipino fishermen protest and adapt. Ano, doon sa kanan, yung aking nilagay na report naman ng BBC. Itong sa New York Times po, naging controversy later on, ano, a few days later, between the foreign FOCAP, no, Foreign Overseas Correspondents Association of the Philippines, ano, and si spokesman Harry Roque. We will see more information about that later on. No? And then, of course, noong July 12, nagsalita itong si Liz Der, D-E-R-R, ng Simularity. And ngayon po sa Manila Times, may magandang artikulo si Ka Bobby Tiglao exposing that a Filipino, a former official of the Ngayon government, is involved in this Simularity. It's an American company na kabago-bago, pero yung $1 million is investment galing sa Abaya family dito
si
sa
Peter
Filipino.
Anthony Abaya, former official ng Malacanang.
Go into a bit of detail sa mga sinulat ni Bobby
Oo,
Tiglao.
ito nga, nasa screen ng computer ko. Actually, ang sinasabi niya, si Abaya, I think, is the executive director of Simularity. And it seems daw na parang personal funds ng Abaya family. Pero ang question kasi, even if they are rich, no, mayaman, but still to fund a think tank like that in millions of money in dollars.
$1 million
Parang imposible.
That's 50 million pesos, more or less. No?
Naku, malaki. Kasi mataas din naman ang currency nila. So parang ang question, si Abaya nga ba ang nagpupondo niyan? Or there are other external forces funding it?
Actually, I have a post sa FB and na-discuss na namin ni Kaado and Ka Ana here, yung connection with the CIA. Simularity has a partnership with All Source. Ano? Hindi ko nasama ang images dito. No? I'll just explain it. All Source is composed of 2 former CIA
think tank
operators. No?
Quote unquote.
Think tank na All Source. No? And so on. So maraming connection yan sa Amerikano. That's why our title is US-led Black Operations on the Arbitration. Ano? And dito ulit, dito sa
just to mention, Asian Maritime Transparency Institute yung isa, and the other one is, actually, Asian Maritime Transparency is an offshoot created by the Center for Strategic and International Studies. These are contracted by the American military, basically the CIA, I think, no? And then Simularity is also within this loop. So kung titignan mo yung yung ititrace mo, isa lang pinanggagalingan yan.
And meron pang nagogoyo nitong mga to sa
kasi hindi
ating
alam
audience.
ng tao.
Tulad ng GMA7.
Ayan, isa pa
they
yan.
published the report nagsalita si Liz Der ng Simularity
Ang
sa
tanong
Scott-based Zoom meeting.
forum.
I think we have a picture of her later on. And this report of Simularity of Liz Der showed a ship, yung sinabi mo kanina, malaking ship na may sumusunod na parang brown na big blob, no? Na siyempre parang it looks like sewage nga, ano? Pero na-discover ni Ginoong Samaniego, Manila Times
Manila Bulletin?
Manila Bulletin, I'm sorry. Manila Bulletin Art and Technology parang editor, ano? Nag-back research siya at nakita niya. Yung picture na yon hindi kinuha sa West Philippine Sea, kundi sa Australia. At hindi po 2021, kundi 2014. Ano? And so, nahalata na pinepeke nitong Liz Der. And siguro yung ibang nabilib sa mga puti, nakita ay mukhang puti itong nag-aanunsyo, baka naniwala ka
O
agad.
kasi gano'n naman Yun nga mahirap sa atin. When someone like as white-skinned person yung nagre-report or nagsasabi, parang feeling nating
Pero
mga
white
Pilipino.
skin ka rin
I'm not. Yellow ako.
Sinita ka.
Sinita ako, pero yellow yung skin ko. Sabi nga ni Francis Chua, we're all yellow skin.
Actually, yellow to brown ang
To brown,
Asian.
oo.
Yellow to brown. Ano?
Tapos ang sinasabi, parang believe ka na agad na tama yung report without even verifying, no? Pero yung boat na yon ay sa ano yan an unidentified ship dumping waste in Australia's Great Barrier Reef in 2014.
That's right,
Na ginamit
2014.
nila doon sa report ni Liz there sa
itong
Strat
nakaraang
Base.
July 12.
Oo, yung 2021 na po
2021.
ngayon, ang layo naman.
Nung
Diba?
nabisto po ito, nag-damage control itong si Liz
yes,
there.
yes,
Sabi niya,
yes.
hindi ko naman sinabing Chinese vessel yan. Pang context lang yan. Dapat sinabi niya nung kanyang pinablish ito. Kasi the next image we have is Liz there. And yung kanyang actual report, yan po, tingnan natin. Sewage from anchored ships is damaging Spratly Reef. Yan po ang litratong ginamit niya. Wala naman siyang paliwanag na this is just a representation or hindi ito actual photo.
At saka in-explain niya dapat yung photo kung galing saan yan.
And may maliit po doon, yun yung Zoom conference nila na nandyan si Carpio.
Nandyan si Carpio, nandyan si Pangilinan. Yung Strat Base Executive Director nila.
Si Dindo Manhit. Yan po,
Tapos
and so on.
isa pa, ito, reporter ng GMA7 yung isa na nasa gilid na nasa baba ni Manhit. No?
At yung nasa kanto, kung harap niyo yung screen, nasa kanto, top right, yun yung si Liz there, na pinagmamalaki na, itong na-discover namin by satellite photo at kita nyo sa satellite photo, yung mga dumi, yung mga waste. You can feel it ba or something like that. No? Parang maaamoy mo na from the satellite.
Sabi ko nga binigyan pa nila ng kunyaring big boast na dahil coming from a satellite image. Para yung mga Pilipino, satellite image kasi tayo mga Pinoy, ganun tayo na, satellite image, it must be true, impressive, di ba? Ginagago tayo ng mga to
Si Liz there, maraming technical na dahil nga sa dumi yan, i-enrich yung tubig, nagkakaroon ng chlorophyll and so on, algae bloom, and mamamatay ang mga isda, kaya nababawasan ang huli ng Filipino fishermen. Hindi niya binabanggit na doon sa area na sinasabi, yung Vietnamese mas maraming mga fishing boats.
Vessels doon, actually.
Dahil doon sa Union Banks kasi, o yung Julian Felipe Reef na tawag, doon itong sinasabi niyang nangyari. And there are 4 Vietnamese facilities there.
Mas maraming forces and boats, vessels ang diyan, ang Vietnamese. Kasi they have, yun sinasabi nyo, 4 na installation. Logically, talaga sila yung dominant doon.
Ang China may 2 installation lang doon. Ang Pilipinas, wala tayo doon. Dahil hindi naman sa EEC natin, ayon kay
Harry Roque.
Harry Roque. And the day after nilabas ito, at na-discover ni Samaniego ng Manila Bulletin itong fraud ni Liz there na binakapan naman ng Strat Base at nila Albert De Rosario and Carpio.
At saka sinakyan ng political opposition yan.
That's right. And sinakyan ni Po.
Actually, ang kabubuhan,
kailangan daw
grabe.
imbestigahan and so on.
Tsaka may isa pa sa Congress. It's actually ang pastor sa Congress.
Pastor.
Oo, na si Bac party list, yung kanilang
si Bac.
representative.
Si Bac.
Si
Villanueva ba yun?
I'm not sure, but si Bac representative ng Congress, sinasabi din niya na we need to investigate that kasi kawawa naman ng Pilipinas, ginagawa lang ganito. Without even, my God, these are legislators. Hindi man lang nila chinek muna kung totoo ang sinasabi nitong list dear na to.
Well, 90% ng mga legislators natin sa Senado at Kongreso, basura din na.
Sila yung human waste.
Tulad mo na mag-aaral bago magsalita. So, mabuti naman this time the government, I'm sure this was instructed by President Duterte. Sumagot ang DND,
sumagot sila.
si Delphine Lorenzana, our Defense Secretary, na walang katotohanan nito. But of course, we will verify. Si Teddy Boy Locsin, Foreign Secretary, na nung mga nakaraan maedyo
maingay.
sinabi na walang katotohanan ito. Sabi ni, in fact, the usual sarcasm of Teddy
Of
Boy
Teddy
Locsin,
Boy,
sagot
yeah.
niya sa reporter ng Rappler, Sofia Tomacruz, no, na nag-uudyok pa na sabi ni Tomacruz, good afternoon, SFA Locsin. Simularity, yun, ni kuno-quote yung Amerikana. Findings were based on satellite images. So, impressive yan.
Impressive kasi
Anong sagot
satellite
ninyo dito? Captured in June this year, simularity.com, blah, blah, blah. Will the DFA consider looking into the incident? Imbestigahan ba ng DFA? Sabi ni Teddy Boy Locsin, nope, the DFA doesn't have maritime capability. I would suggest, however, that those who believe it, prove it by drinking copiously. Copiously meaning, tuloy-tuloy. Laklakin mo, laklakin.
Ganun.
Therefrom, after stirring the bottom, and then we'll take stool samples from them. There should be a copious supply if true. Kung totoo, maraming dumi yung stool sample na makukuha. Anyway, so may sarcasm lang doon. The point is,
si DNA, si
National Defense Secretary.
Sabi ni DFA Secretary na refute report about alleged human waste dumping in WPS. Sabi niya, absent any confirmation of the similarity report, he said, the reported dumping of waste in the West Philippine Sea is not true. Kasi bakit? Wala naman kasing report coming from Coast Guard.
Right, Coast Guard.
And the Coast Guard are actually the actual people who can verify that kasi sila nandun.
And this is the next
Yes.
slide. Ito po ang next slide, no? Sabi nga ng New York Times report, hinaharangan, sabi ng BBC report, linablockade ng Filipino fishermen ng Chinese Coast Guard. Ito po ang sagot ng mayor ng Zambales at ng Philippine Coast Guard. Ito. From Abante, kinuha naman natin sa Tagalog tabloid, no? Zambales Mayor, PCG, Philippine Coast Guard, pumalag. Mga Pinoy mangingisda, hindi hinaharangan sa Scarborough.
Actually, hindi lang ngayon yan lumabas. Even before yung issue ng Whitsun Reef, nagsalita rin ng mga fisher folks doon na wala namang humaharang sa kanila. Actually, they were afraid na kapag pinolitize ang issue na ito, parang magkaroon ng effect sa kanila negatively. So gusto nga ng mga fisher folks na wag na niyong anuhan yan, ipoliticize para kami hindi ka apektado kasi they're actually fishing in the Boro and even in the South China Sea. Kasi po, dapat maintindihan ng ating mga kabansa, ang Boro po or ang Scarborough Shoal area is a traditional fishing ground. Not only of the Chinese, but even of the other Southeast Asian.
Filipino,
Vietnamese, Malaysian, kahit nga Indonesian, minsan pumapasok dyan eh. Diba? So, hindi siya totoo na walang nakakapangisda doon, mga Chinese lang. No. Kasi even Vietnamese are also fishing there.
Ang totoo nga, sa kasalukuyan, hindi nga nangingisda ang mga, wala namang report ang BBC, may nakita silang Chinese
nangingisda
fishermen.
na Chinese doon.
Wala, kasi may moratorium or fishing ban ang Chinese sa sariling fishermen nila. Kasi, of course, they're the biggest catcher kasi malaki
silang bansa.
And so they're aware, they're conscious, they have to protect it. So sila kusang pumipigil sa sarili nila ng ilang buwan ba yun? 4 na buwan ata, no? May ba?
Ano
June,
na ngayon?
July,
Mga 4 o 5 buwan.
4 na buwan. So walang tigil na talaga ang mga pangingisda nila. And hindi din totoo na pinipigilan ng Pilipino o Vietnamese and so on.
Kasi bakit? Isa din. Kasi ang nagsabi din na traditional fishing ground ang area ng Scarborough Shoal, it was even on close.
Yeah.
Oo, sila ang nagsabi noon na
close,
walang traditional, anyone can fish. The Chinese can fish, Filipino, Vietnamese, Malaysian can fish there. It's a traditional fishing ground. Basta wag commercial, subsistence.
Traditional, way back 1,000 years, sama-sama na ang mga nasa paligid po niyang Scarborough at ng South China Sea, generally in the areas na nangingisda.
Walang gulo noon. Everyone can do and peacefully they can exchange.
Nagkaroon na lang ng gulo dahil sa UNCLOS at yung pagkadiskubre ng langis diyan sa South China Sea noong 1971, 72, 73. Were you born already?
Yet, no.
Not yet born.
Not yet born.
Nagkaroon ng oil crisis noon, doon nagsimula talaga, 1970, 71,
Yes.
noon nag-strike ang mga jeepney, 1 centavo, 2 centavo increase, gulo na. Sinusunog ng mga bus, ng mga jeepney drivers kasi competition ng bus. And so, tinataob na yung ibang mga jeepney. Ngayon kung ilang dolyares ang tinataas, wala tayong magawa. Ano?
At saka one thing siguro, ang mga kababayan natin maintindihan, pagdating sa lugar na yan, sa area na yung local people and even the Chinese and the local fishermen, they're friends. They exchange things, they talk with each other, they're good with each other. Tayo lang naman dito sa national level ang nanggugulo
Yes,
Pero yung mga tao sa baba, wala namang gulo
Di ba nag-report tayo just a few sessions natin ago that pagka inclement weather, masama ang panahon, sama-sama silang sumisilong
nagtutulungan sila.
Doon sa Scarborough. Kasi kalmado doon, may reef nga na proteksyonan. Ano? So, importante po itong impormasyon. Pero, yayabang nitong mga Western media.
Yes.
Ano? Ay ba, Western kami. Ang mga amo namin, puti. Ano? Sino ba kayo? Kayong manggi, kayong mga dilaw, kayong mga ano? Kaya po, ang Malacanang, nainis. Si Harry Roque nainis nung isang reporter ng BBC at producer nung report na yon, si Virma Rivera, tinawagan niyang Malacanang, i-verify po ninyo, tawagan niyo ang mayor ng Zambales para i-verify niyo yung report niyo. Aba, imbis na gawin yung tama na mag-verify and so on, inudyok ang Foreign Overseas Correspondents Association of the Philippines, FOCAP, na awayin si Harry Roque, na sinasabi condescending daw si Harry Roque. Sobrang mayabang, mababa ang tingin. Well, ako talagang mababa ang tingin ko sa Western press and media. Anyway, exact words ni Roque? Basahin natin.
Basahin natin.
Virma, tumawag ka ng matanong mo naman si Mayor. Si Mayor Arsenia Lim ng Masinloc, Zambales, yung katapat na bayan.
Yung bayan
ng
very near
Scarborough. And sabi niya, at saka ang Philippine Coast Guard, tumawag ka kasi tinawag iyong report ninyo ng isang may-ari ng lansya na chismis. In fairness to you, tumawag ka ngayon. I will link you up with them para naman malinawan kung ano iyang report mo. Now, arrogante ba yon? Well, tinawagan ko siyang kaibigan natin, Melo Acuña, sabi niya, talagang inis si Harry Roque. Bakit hindi ka maiinis? Sisiraan mo ang magandang relasyon ng China at Pilipinas at ng Administrasyong Duterte sa isang fake news na kayong gumagawa, kayong mga puting Western. May article ako sa Pinoy Express, Pinoy Expose. Ang title ko, Western Media, Human Waste-Turn Media. Dahil hindi ko nasasabihin yung salita.
Basta human waste.
Human waste ng mga Western media. We have 3 minutes left na. So let's analyze this. By the way, just to show you that you should try to go to sovereignph.com, ang aking artikulo on this item. British Broadcasting Parrots Carpios Galunggong Logic. Si Carpio naman sinasabi, kawawa ang Filipino fishermen, inuubos ng Chinese. And so, pinakita ko din dito sa article na may satellite photo, there are 8,500 Vietnamese ships, fishing vessels, almost every month dyan sa area na yan. 8,500, bakit hindi nyo sitahin yan?
Wala.
Wala.
Kasi Carpio is under the saya yan ng niya.
Asawa niyang
Vietnamese.
Well, anyway, we have 2 minutes left. So, anong overall lesson for you?
For me kasi, ang nangyaring ganito, actually, ang unang tumatak sa utak ko nang pinalabas nila itong mga fake news, hindi na kasi nila kayang bilugin ang utak ng Pinoy about the PCA ruling. Kasi the Filipino people are very much aware na kung ano talaga ang totoo sa PCA ruling, that it was a hoax, cannot be implemented, whatever. It's not even, the PCA was not even a UN body, no? And everything about that is just within the interest of the oligarchs and also the officials ni Ninoy Noy, na nag-away-away na at yung kanilang dirty laundry ay nasa publiko na. So they're trying to steal, this is like a last hurrah for them. Last hurrah, trying to steal again the minds of the Filipino people na masama nga itong China. Pero they cannot do that anymore. Because why? Because Filipino are very aware, very open na. At the same time, you have the social media who can always verify and fact-check everything.
At saka merong GNN. And
yes, we have us who always Ito kasi, ganito yung Mentong.
Last minute.
Oo, ito kasi ganito yung Mentong. As long as you are all for the truth, and lahat ng sinasabi mo is based on facts and truth, lalabas at lalabas ang totoo. Ang problema nila, they always base everything on fake news and hindi totoo at gawa lang na issue.
Yeah,
To paint the administration of President Duterte in a bad light and China also on the bad light para sirain ang magandang relasyon ng dalawang bansa.
Okay.
That will never win.
Okay.
That will never win because the truth always prevails.
Yeah, the truth will always out,
Prevail,
sabi,
yes.
no? Okay, sa our next topic, sa second half po ay yung tagumpay ng Pilipinas
Yes.
sa COVID-19 battle. Ano? Okay, let's take this break.